Now, Afghan President Ashraf Ghani has arrived in New Delhi for a one-day India visit. Now, Ghani will be meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi and will be discussing the shared objective of promoting security and stability in Afghanistan and efforts to combat terrorism. They'll be discussing regional and global issues of mutual interest. This will be the first visit by the Afghan president after the US called for greater role to be played by India in Afghanistan. Now, the visit is expected to build upon the recent high-level bilateral exchanges between the two nations. It also comes just a day after Afghanistan issued a decree banning Pakistani trucks from entering the country via the Torkham and the Spin Boldak border crossings. Now, these are live visuals that we are getting of Afghan President Ashraf Ghani arriving in New Delhi. Now, remember, the relationship between India and Afghanistan has warmed up in the last several years, where Afghanistan has again accused Pakistan as being the region that has provided safe havens to terrorists to operate from its soil to carry out terror attacks on Afghan territory. This is an allegation which Afghanistan has also reiterated in recent years. The Afghanistan and Pakistan trade agreement has expired, and this has further strained the relationship between Afghanistan and Pakistan. But India-Afghanistan relationship has been on an upswing. So this is a crucial one-day meet which President Ashraf Ghani has in fact flown down to India from Kabul. Remember, this evening we expect Rex Tillerson, the US Secretary of State, to also arrive in New Delhi for talks. And for more on this, we are joined by our international affairs correspondent, Ramesh Ramachandran. Ramesh, this is a critical visit by the Afghan president to India. What is expected in terms of agenda today?
Well, this is a further indication of the strategic congruence in terms that emerging among India, Afghanistan and the US on the issue of stabilizing the affairs in Afghanistan. And we are seeing that manifest itself in President Ghani's visit to New Delhi. He's here for less than a day, during which he will meet with the cross-section of Indian leaders and also address the think tank here in New Delhi on the way forward in restoring peace and stability in Afghanistan. His visit comes at a time when U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson is also expected to land in New Delhi later tonight. So clearly, New Delhi will be the center of talks on Afghanistan with the presence of President Ghani and Secretary of State Rex Tillerson of the U.S.
Absolutely, indeed. And considering the fact, Ramesh, that this is a visit that is coming, just a few weeks after US President Donald Trump's review of the South Asia policy, focusing on Afghanistan, where he sought a greater involvement of India in the reconstruction and rebuilding of Afghanistan. How critical do you think is this visit in terms of India's role in reconstructing Afghanistan?
Mohammed, President Donald Trump's the so-called South Asia strategy is in sharp contrast to his predecessor, Barack Obama's ASPAC strategy, which kept India out of the negotiations, as it were, and the affairs of Afghanistan. Under President Trump, Washington wants India to play a more influential role in Afghanistan, especially in terms of development aid assistance to Afghanistan, and India enjoys considerable goodwill and support among both the people and government of Afghanistan, and that has probably not gone down well with Pakistan, which sees India as an existential threat to itself in the region and beyond. But that said, in recent weeks we've seen both Washington and New Delhi call Pakistan's bluff and send out a strong message, a tough message to Pakistan to ship up or shape out and to deny safe havens to terrorists and to come clean, make a clean break with the past insofar as policy of stand on terrorism is concerned.
Absolutely, and considering the fact, the recent history between Pakistan and Afghanistan, Ramesh, the fact that Pakistan had been, in many ways, pulling the strings for the Taliban in Afghanistan, where Pakistan had used Afghanistan as a backyard to try and test out its terror organizations. Now India has always been stressing on the fact that, Pakistan is the nation that has been the epicenter of terror in South Asia. What sort of a congruence can we now expect to see between the Afghans and the Indians on the issue of terror emanating from Pakistan?
Well, very clearly, Mohammed, both Afghanistan and India see themselves as victims of terrorism, especially that which originates from Pakistani soil. Remember, by Pakistan's own admission, there are at least 20 terrorist groups operating on Pakistani soil, which carry out activities both against Afghanistan and India. And to that extent, we've seen India and Afghanistan cooperate in combating terrorism, especially that which emanates from Pakistan. We've also seen U.S. come around to India's view that Pakistan cannot be allowed to continue to use terrorism as an instrument of state policy, and that Pakistan and that the world must lean on Pakistan to make it desist from using terror as state policy. And that we've seen happen slowly but surely as the law of diminishing returns kicks in, and Pakistan is forced to, as Tillerson said yesterday, take a clear-eyed view of the expectations of Washington from Pakistan on this count.
Absolutely. And also, Ramesh, considering the fact that we expect Secretary of State Rex Tillerson to in fact arrive in India later in the evening, there isn't likely to be a meeting between Ashraf Ghani and Rex Tillerson in India. But is there any kind of an indication that Rex Tillerson may also fly to Afghanistan? Because generally the visits to Afghanistan are never announced. And also on the itinerary of Rex Tillerson, we only have Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, India and Switzerland, apart from Qatar, that his itinerary in fact stated. Do we also expect that Rex Tillerson may visit Afghanistan after his India visit?
There's been a change in Tillerson's itinerary. It was supposed to visit countries, as you mentioned, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Pakistan, India and Switzerland. But yesterday we saw Tillerson arrive on an unscheduled visit to Kabul and hold talks with President Ghani. And last time we saw him travel to Baghdad in Iraq for the second time in 2 days to meet with Prime Minister of Iraq, Haider al-Abadi. So clearly, a lot of developments are weighing on Tillerson, including Afghanistan. And when he lands in Pakistan today, as Tillerson said yesterday, the Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan, he can be expected to reiterate Washington's, to quote Tillerson, very specific request. Expect Pakistan to take action to undermine the support that Taliban and other terrorists will receive from Pakistani deep state. Just to quote Tillerson again, he says, Trump's strategy is a conditions-based approach, and our relationship with Pakistan will also be conditions-based. And to quote him further, it says, it will be based on whether they take action that we feel necessary to move the process of peace and reconciliation in Afghanistan. So clearly, Tillerson sending out a tough to Pakistan there.
Absolutely. We'll have to leave it there, Ramesh. Thank you very much for joining us and getting us up to speed in terms of the developments that are taking place in terms of Ashraf Ghani's visit to India. We'll, of course, keep coming back to you through the day as the story unfolds.